Checklist.io.
All right, welcome to Gen X Rated, Tuesday edition. And yes, a new song, Billy, I'm sure you noticed.
Yeah, the news stays the same, but the song is always changing. So there you go.
Well, and maybe the news is staying the same too, because it's just dour, so to speak.
Yeah, it's horrific. Every day is a new nightmare. What what fresh hell does today bring?
Well, maybe you're just looking at it wrong. Just to put up what you could be saying to start is, look at that. Look at that. Trump today had his whole list there of accomplishments in the first year. It's
Alienate all of our allies, round up, detain, and murder innocent civilians, crash the economy. Yeah, checking all those boxes off.
Well, and in fairness, he didn't read any of those.
Not a reader.
He didn't really mention any of them. He did jump on the rigged election, and we're finding out more information just how rigged it was. I mean, that stuff just goes on. He said he could read for weeks. He did so many amazing things. The funny part or ironic part is he didn't name a single thing. He took that paper clip off, the chip clip. It snapped. You could hear it on mic, and then he went into a diatribe about how it could have taken his finger off, but you would have never known it. He would have suffered the pain, and you wouldn't even have known. And then he started showing the clip. It's like a hair clip, guy. Like really, really not Vietnam times two.
Oh, my God. And speaking of Vietnam, when Nixon was president, his attack against the North Vietnamese was the madman theory, where if the North Vietnamese really believed that he was insane enough, that he was a madman to go nuclear, that would bring us victory. Well, it didn't. But we literally now have a madman. We've seen dementia up close. We've seen what this looks like. We've seen the behavior up close and personal. And this is it. We literally have a demented madman in charge, the most powerful man in the world, the man that carries the nuclear codes. And for whatever reason, the GOP Congress is kowtowing to him. He's threatening our allies. You look at the markets today, he's tanking the economy.
Yeah.
This is insane. You look at what's going on in the streets where American citizens, veterans, off-duty police officers, anybody and everybody is subject now to being stopped and asked for their papers. What the actual fuck?
And the only real safe paperwork is a passport, which we've talked in the past that not a ton of people have a passport. Your state ID might not be good enough. Nobody's carrying their birth certificate around. But yeah, Kristi Noem, that was her whole point. They're going to ask you for documentation, which just seems very un-American to begin with.
Un-American, unconstitutional, completely illegal. And we don't even know who these masked idiots are.
I know. Well, you haven't seen the Proud Boys around, so there's a lot of speculation that that's why they're masked up. You don't want to do IDs on them. There were some leaks as far as who some on the payroll are from these ICE members. And yeah, they some of them are from the Proud Boys. And who else are you going to get to carry out this kind of stuff?
Oh, well, there's a whole nation full of cranks and haters and white supremacists. I mean, take your pick. They're out there. There's no shortage of them, that's for sure.
Well, and this delusional president's talking about he wanted to name it the Gulf of Trump. It's just all Trump all the time, mentioning how the Hells Angels were good people. They voted for him. So I guess if you vote for him, you're a good person. The notebook or the whatever you want to call his accomplishments reminded me of the grift of a whole room full of computers.
Yeah,
I've got a stack of them. I mean, they did the same thing on 60 Minutes with his healthcare package. Turns out that those notebooks are all empty. There wasn't anything in there. It's kind of like
or the Epstein files that they released to all those right-wing podcasters that were just full of crap.
Hold them up. Hey, I got the notebook. And that is truly why this distraction goes on and on and on. They just don't want to release the Epstein files. We're still waiting. They're 30 plus days past um, passed the legal action where they had to do it. The Department of Justice had to turn over that information. They're in contempt, but hey, let's talk about the Clintons, who are only not wanting to testify privately. They're willing to do it publicly, but get in line. We got a lot of January 6th Congress people that were called into court that didn't show up. Jim Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think we should all be penalized because we have a government protecting pedophiles. The other thing is, I find that KK Caroline continuing to talk about them taking off murderers and rapists and pedophiles off the street is very ironic when you're taking those same pedophiles off the street and putting them in the White House. It's
Yeah, and protecting them because they, have money and influence and connections, and you know, doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, U.S. citizen, whoever. If these people need to be exposed.
You're absolutely right. Part of the economy crashing today, 900 points. I think the Dow is down. The Europeans are pushing back. This whole Greenland thing is just a little too much for most of them to take. I mean, when you start talking about I'm bigger than you are, I have the right to do this, that, and the other, that doesn't go over real well in current times. I know he's hell bent on seizing the Western Hemisphere. This is my hemisphere, but the planet's a big place, but it's not that big.
Yeah, and there's
We're all carving
consequences.
out our little part, and he's making things more difficult for one nation only, and it's not China. It's us right here. So China,
Yeah.
their economy is doing great. Sadly, not sadly, just compared to us, yeah, sadly. We're not having so much success. This is the 5th straight month of the Chinese not buying our soybean products, which, I don't know. I guess we're going to supplement the farmers there too, because why should they suffer when policy is really killing all of us, but not China, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is a nightmare. It really is. It's a mess. I mean, essentially, Trump has created his own private army, pumping billions of tax dollars into it. Basically, state-sponsored terror, which call a spade a spade.
$30 billion.
Yeah,
These guys are getting bonuses of $44,000 that was approved by Congress. These ICE officials. Meanwhile, the average American, if you get a bonus, is about $2,500. And that's for showing up to work every day, including MLK Day, which apparently is no longer as important. And that's something we'll talk about shortly. But very disappointing. Everything's about the money. Everything's about the grift. Just to put numbers on it, China's economy expanded at a 5% annual pace in 2025. That was despite Trump's tariffs. Didn't affect them. And then we came to find out that the tariffs, 96% of it was paid by us.
Yeah, we're the suckers. That's how it is with Trump, though. Anytime you deal with Trump, you're always going to be the sucker at the table.
Yeah, for sure. 12 months of executive orders, which again are not laws, but it's stuff he just keeps cranking out. The one piece of legislation that Congress might push through has to do with daylight savings time. Like that's a real pressing issue right now. That we can agree on. More light of day. Guys, it's not even an attic fire anymore, okay? The whole second floor is on fire.
Oh, yeah.
But the people running the show just don't quite get it. They can't really relate. I saw statistics on the average senator's age is 64 years old. The average rep is 57 years old. And the average American is 38 years old. So I just don't know how they can really relate to what people are going through in this country. And then they stay in Congress for 30 years. That's not helpful.
No, it's not helpful. And the ones that do get it, I think they just don't care. I mean, these are people, they've got their, they make a lot of money. They've got a lot of connections. They can do all the insider trading they want. They've got, gold-plated healthcare for life, not a concern for them. They don't do their own grocery shopping. They don't care what the prices at the grocery store look like.
As you say, they don't even open up their own mail.
Yeah, exactly. They've just put themselves above the rest of us. And, they were elected to serve the people. We're not here to serve them.
No. And it's just,
and yet, that's where we are.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how that's working out for us, but so far it's to use your words, is kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
All these pardons in his executive orders, he's taken a lot of people that owed retribution to folks, and just because he pardons them, in some cases, people aren't getting that retribution. They're not only allowed out of jail, but then they don't have to pay for what they did in the past. Came out, the numbers were about $1.9 billion that was supposed to be paid into our U.S. government by these criminals. And it's not chump change. It's not a guy that stole $50. I mean, these are, hundreds of millions of dollars, and we're just not getting it. And I guess we're making up for it in these tariffs, but I think it's ridiculous. The last thing with Trump to Greenland was he was willing to pay $700 billion for Greenland. Plus, he was going to give each person in Greenland, there's 57,000 people that live there. He was going to give them 100,000 apiece. So we're going to buy the whole thing for $706 billion with a B dollars. That money could be spent on hundreds of other things that actually pertain to American citizens.
Yeah. Well, not interested in that. And here's something. You can't buy a country. You can't buy people. They don't want to be Americans.
Yeah.
They're not interested. And a lot of them are terrified about that. This is just, it's absurd.
Yeah, several people commented that we're just not getting it as a nation, that they're not interested. Money doesn't, give you a community. Money doesn't necessarily make you a part of this community. They just don't feel like we get it. They don't need our money. They don't need our leadership. They want it, but force ourselves on them, which basically says, hey, Putin, whatever you want, take. Hey, China, whatever you want, take. Nothing's going to stop us, type of thing. And it's just nuts. You would think this was 100 and some years ago. This is like today. This is not how politics work. But clearly, this is how he thinks it works.
Yeah, I mean, he's managed to single-handedly destroy the entire post-World War II world balance, all of our alliances. I mean, Europe's turning their back on us.
Well, he wants the peace group. What did he call it? The peace board of peace or something?
Board of peace with Trump at the head. Yeah, Trump and Putin running it.
$1 billion to buy into that. So France said no, thank you. Trump today said that he would demand $2 billion from them, and he will still ruin their job as far as any kind of. I don't know. I lost my train of thought on that one.
Well, it's hard to keep a train of thought because it's just so outlandish and so outrageous. I mean, you're talking to one of our oldest allies.
Yeah. Oh, he was going to tariff on their wine. It just so happens that it conflicts with his wine business. So that would be twofold. As if the Trump family hadn't accumulated enough money. I think they brought in $1.8 billion in cash and gifts since he was reelected. We're coming up on a year today, I guess, is the date of his inauguration. That's why he carted out the big book to tell you how amazing he is. But what he doesn't understand is the Europeans aren't putting up with it. Europe is selling U.S. assets. This is going to push the dollar to be an issue. I don't want to use words like collapse, but if enough people do it, you got a serious problem. Denmark, their pension fund is now selling all their U.S. Treasury by the end of the month. They feel like under Trump, it's a credit risk. It's no longer sustainable. We have weak financial or weak fiscal discipline. Yes. And the softer dollar plus the push for Greenland. I mean, it all comes back to his erratic behavior that, people just aren't on board with that around the world. Here, I don't know. We just seem to be frozen in time or something.
Well, I think the majority of us are not on board with this, but it's just a matter of how do you fight this when Congress is so complicit? The opposition just seems to be so impotent. The GOP is spineless. There's a part of the GOP, a majority of them that are all in.
Yeah,
they're all in. You have people like Josh Hawley changing their votes. With the War Powers Act, they dance to whatever tune that Trump is calling.
For sure. And even on the Greenland thing, the Republican representative said, I don't like the policy, but I'm not criticizing the president. To that point, this is the normalcy that we get. Last night was the national football or the collegiate
Championship,
championship
yeah.
game. And here's Trump. Trump's there with his golfing niece or whatever, and he walks in. I will say that they were smart enough not to put him on the jumbotron when he was announced. There was loud booing. Um, he's not that popular, but they shield him from that. And the fact that they just make it seem like everything's normal. Hey, next up after college football, now we'll start what? Spring training's coming up for baseball. Like everything's
Spring
great.
training, yeah, and college basketball, March Madness is on the horizon. It's just this weird veneer of normalcy where everything is rotten underneath it. I mean, the floor is literally collapsing underneath us.
Yeah, and to that point of stench, they talked about the making whole milk wonderful again, and that was a whole waste of time. And they brought the kids in, and one of the smaller kids, he probably was 7, had to explain to Trump about how they process milk. He thought that was very interesting because he didn't know that. Not surprising, but apparently the whole campaign was supposed to be for raw milk. We know that's RFK Jr. is a big fan of that, and it's pretty ridiculous. But the legal team said you'd be sued right off the bat. That's not something you can do. So they turned it into a whole milk thing, which I didn't know it was off the market. I didn't know I wasn't able to buy whole milk because anywhere I went, it was available.
Yeah, it's on the shelf. You want whole milk, buy whole milk. It's your choice. You want, skim milk. You want, half milk. Get whatever you want.
1%, 2%, you choose. We've
Yeah.
got all of it. But to make this whole, mustache campaign again, I think we've seen that before. I don't think it ever went away.
Yeah.
People wanted a little less fat in their diet. Skim milk doesn't provide as much protein as whole milk. Try 2%, try 1%. It does have all the other benefits minus the fat. So, hey, I'm not saying go fat free, but choose what you want. But this wasn't a battle where people weren't able to get their whole milk. It's another distraction away from the Epstein files.
Yeah, it's just distraction after distraction, and some of these distractions are becoming disastrous.
For sure, but look who's in charge. Bissett is out there talking about housing, and he phrases it in such a way that someone, maybe your parents for their retirement, have bought 5 or 10 or 12 homes. People can't afford one home right now. And you're talking about the people that for their retirement bought up to a dozen homes. Like, I don't even know where to begin with that. But again, it's not the wealthy people's problem. It's kind of all of our problem.
Yeah, they don't care. And I mean, they've caused this problem.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Even Warren Buffett's put a lot of his dollars into yen. He's also expanding that other currencies aren't such a bad thing. It's just softening the dollar even more, which really only affects us because all our stuff's in the dollar. These tariffs that he brought in tens of billions of dollars, maybe it's trillions now. Who knows what he's thinking today? But the American public's paying 96% of that. So when he talks about, hey, the Supreme Court, if they overrule my amazing tariffs, it's going to be a big problem. Well, the only problem would be that you might get some of your money back. I mean, the grift is on. Walmart, same thing. You see it all over social media, guys weighing what is it advertised as a pork butt at 5 pounds, weighing in at 2.5 pounds. You think you're buying 3 pounds of chicken. It's less than 2 pounds. I mean, it's just crazy. And it's right out in front of you.
It is. And, the really maddening part is that corporate America could stand up to this.
Yeah.
All it would take is some corporate leaders to march into the White House and say, look, this is not acceptable. This is not working. We're not going to have this. They don't care. They just see an opportunity to make more money, to, sell you less for more. And that's all they care about. They have absolutely no thought for the consumer, except they want to keep you buying. That's all. We're just something that they can squeeze. We're turnips that they can squeeze the juice out of to get what they want. That's it.
Well, if they need more money, Tyson Foods laying off 5,000 U.S. workers in 2 states: Lexington, Nebraska, 3,200; Amarillo, Texas, 1,700 people. Well, I'm sorry about that, but a lot of those states again voted for them. The manufacturing has declined every month since April. So they keep talking about all these factories that they're building. I'm not seeing it. I think I saw one shovel presentation where they were starting to break land on a micron or maybe a chip factory. Come on, man. Is that $90 trillion? I mean, it's just made up, but they make it believable. I mean, 54%
And the media,
of
you know, the
Americans
media
read it
aids
at
and abets
sixth grade
that.
level. I'm sorry?
The media aids and abets it.
Oh,
Nobody's
CBS
pushing
is
back.
junk.
There's very few journalists actually doing their job. I mean, CBS has gone full Fox to race to the bottom to see who can, kiss Trump's ass more. Yeah, it's really disturbing. It's the worst case of self-censorship. And you saw recently the Washington Post reporter who was not suspected of anything, but they raided her house anyway, took all of her electronics so they could find out where the leak was coming from.
And
Highly
Bezos
illegal.
said nothing. Bezos said nothing. You own the Washington Post. You have somebody that comes in after one of your reporters, say something.
Yeah, he's not going to say anything. He's totally complicit.
Yes,
All of these billionaires.
And as the billionaire wealth is at its highest ever, $18.3 trillion, we just look at the big, beautiful bill, which has taken people that are 55 to 64 years of age and locked them out of SNAP if they're not working. It's not that those people and 55 to 64 don't want to work and feel like they're getting taken care of with their SNAP benefits, which isn't enough to live off of, obviously. But there can be circumstances. Maybe it's disability. Maybe it's an inability to find a job. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why. And then to take people off SNAP just because they seem too old and they're not children doesn't make any sense. But then you back that up with the USDA terminating the annual food insecurity survey, and we're all blind to it. We don't know who's having trouble. How many people? I don't know. There's no way for me to even know that. I can't even talk about average prices because we don't report on that anymore. We don't put that information out there.
Yeah, no, we're not interested in putting that out there. That's just going to upset people.
What's upsetting?
It's going to make us look bad.
It's kind of insane, and we just keep kicking at it and kicking at it. I mean, just to put up a cent, this guy just is not relatable. Now, maybe he took a pot shot at Musk, and we can commend him for that. But I'm sure it was more like a slap fight, if anything.
Oh, I'm sure.
Let's be realistic here.
Like a mouse pissing on a cotton ball.
So we have 34 people that control 12% of the income in the U.S., but they want to blame immigrants. It's the immigrants' problem. It's not.
Oh, yeah, it's the immigrants. Yeah, that's it.
Now, at the peak of the Gilded Age, the richest 0.0001% in 1910 owned the wealth equal to 4% of the national income. Maybe it doesn't seem a lot, but you're talking about very few people. Now the richest percent of 0.00001 own 12%. So you're looking at 3 times as much wealth as the original robber barons had. So I don't see the good that's going to come out of that.
No, nothing good comes out of this. I guarantee you that nothing good will come out of this.
Well, the top 15 billionaires gained nearly $1 trillion just in Trump's first year. So that's a lot of money. And we're using T for trillion, not B for billion, which used to be a big deal, but not really anymore.
Yeah. And what are these people doing with this money? How is this bringing them any? I mean, so much good could be done with that kind of money. And yet all they care about is just doing for themselves. And they need more and more and more. It's like a sick game to them.
Yeah. How much is enough? We're going to find out because we want more and more and more.
Yeah. And you know what? We're taking it from you and you and you and you.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we don't put anything into healthcare. We just don't feel that that's necessary. And, just eat a better diet and exercise. You'll be fine. But that doesn't seem to be holding off the measles in South Carolina. Didn't really do much for the flu. Which a lot of people that we know suffered through. Less so if you're vaccinated, but we don't even push the flu vaccine anymore because it just seems woke.
Yeah, you don't want to be woke. And forget about that COVID shot. You don't want that jab.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. And again, all these distractions, all the muddying and such is just to keep you from focusing on what the crime really is. We're protecting a pedophile all over and all throughout our government. That's left, right, and center. I'm not really pointing out to the Republicans, but let's start naming names and move on from it. I mean, it seems like it's the appropriate time. It's, again, the only thing that may unite us is this. Um, yeah, I don't know that that's going to happen because now Pam Bondi's trying to create laws that make it so that they don't have to report anything.
Yeah.
Why should they? Who are you? Why do you need to know? It's
I mean,
crazy.
this is straight out of 1984. This is so Orwellian. It's horrifying.
And here's your Congress, and that's who supports our. Uh, well, the robber barons are supporting our Congress, and then the Congress does whatever that industry wants to do. We saw the dairy industry; they got their payback with this whole milk thing, and then we've seen it with the beef industry because, hey, why not? More beef, please.
The pork industry, well, we'll just police ourselves. Don't worry about that. We'll do the inspections.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. You can talk so much about eating healthy and everything. I don't necessarily trust our food system at this point. I mean, to your
Yeah.
point, the pork industry is going to patrol themselves and, hey, maybe there's an outbreak here or whatever. But until somebody's sick, okay, now somebody is sick. Well, what are you going to do? Sue them? Because you're not going to get very far. You're just going to be sickened. And they're okay with that. They don't seem that they think they need to make a change as long as the bottom line's okay and the stock price is doing okay. Why not?
Yeah, it's I don't even know what to say anymore. Some days it's just overwhelming. Just the wave after wave after wave of everything that they're doing to make life harder and more grim for the average American.
And I wanted to drop back to yesterday because again, I really felt it. I know that the Twitter platform is now run by Musk and his people, but every year I would be bombarded with MLK speech clips. I find them fascinating. It's generally something I would, enjoy hearing. That was kind of my peaceful place on MLK Day, was to hear some of his speeches from the past. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? We laugh at that now. What are we doing for others? What are they doing for me? All about me. He had great turnout, black and white. People knew the injustice. They thought it was a bunch of crap, and it was. The time is always right to do what's right. Maybe these are more like Tomlinisms, but they all resonate, and it's all stuff that we've kind of moved on from and don't really give the respect due for the sacrifice he made. The mountaintop speech. He was dead the next day. He'd already been to the top of the mountain, and he saw what could be and what was better. So we had to make the journey without him. He was well aware of it, but again, you forget the past, you're going to repeat what you're trying to avoid because you don't know, you don't learn, and you don't maybe care. I'm not sure.
Well, they've just managed to basically erase this man. Someone who stood up and showed what nonviolent protest could accomplish. They changed the system, you know? It led to the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, things that are rapidly being, taken away from us and rolled back. Yeah, it's sickening what they've done and the way it did feel different. It really did. And oh, that's so woke. And doing for others and having empathy, this new stripe of Christianity that a lot of these people are pushing finds that a weakness. Empathy's a sin. It's weak. It's just holy shit. I don't even know what to say. It's like we're through the looking glass on this. It's insane.
Yeah, and to your point on the Voting Rights Act, that's something that as we speak, that's going to come out of the Supreme Court, and we'll see, and that could change our voting going forward. I mean, we already know that they've gone to the USPS and they've made them you can't have your vote count if you put it in the mailbox the day it's due. It can only be postmarked once it gets to a processing plant. Well, if you're in rural America, or let's say you're serving overseas, that timestamp postmark is going to be a lot different than the day that you sent it. So they're actively making people do it, vote, making it harder to vote, period. End of story.
Yeah, it's just voter suppression. And meanwhile, this clown is still complaining about, his imagined voter fraud that stole the 2020 election from him. And yet they're actively working to make sure this happens again.
And you're right. It was today. He was making the comments today. We're still finding more evidence of fraud, and he won the election even bigger. On the stage, if he's on the stage, if he's on the national stage, if he's in a town hall meeting, it's always about him. It's always about the injustices that have been done to him. Meanwhile, he's trampling all our civil liberties, all our rights to fill in the blank, all the above, because they just don't care. And maybe they feel that we're not deserving of it. But as people, I think it's underwhelming, the amount of pushback that we're seeing.
Well, but I think a lot of people don't know how to push back. You go to the protests, but you see what can happen when you push back. I mean, a woman was murdered and they lied about it. They absolutely lied. I mean, the fire department records show that Ross guy did not go to the hospital. He went home. He was escorted home and they moved him away. They just blatantly lie to your face and they don't care.
Yeah. Well, and then
today's that video.
Yeah. And then today's Trump angle is that he felt badly for the woman, but paid agitator. Her wife was yelling and screaming and really making a scene. And, so maybe it's okay that somebody got shot in the face. He felt bad for a second. And that took him, 12 days now to decide that he felt kind of bad about it. At first, she was a paid agitator. She was a terrible person. That wasn't sticking. The man was hit by the car, had internal bleeding, another fallacy that didn't stick. So now we're just going to keep changing their narrative. Like, who's the devil now?
Yeah. Well, I think we know who the devil is. It's, it's pretty blatant. It's so in your face. And it's the Costanza theory, Remember, Jerry, if you truly believe it, it's not a lie. Well,
and he might. I was only going to say that, he is having so many mental issues, but physically, as a 79-year-old man, he's just going to have issues. During the milk thing, I don't know if it was the dairy that he maybe drank some of, though that doesn't seem like him. But he was releasing a lot of gas, and small children aren't going to hide from that. So the facial expressions, if you watched it, were like, and then looking at their mom like, what is going on here type of thing. He's just not fit for office, to put it pretty bluntly and basically. I just wanted to say on the MLK thing that the free passes to national parks, to me, was just a real FU to everything MLK stood for. This was it's our national parks. You're talking about 2 days, MLK Day and Juneteenth, where you could go to the national parks for free. He took that away because why should they get something for free? I mean, it's like every day's free white person day, but not on these days. But you can have free access to the national parks on Trump's birthday. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, this is just, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. And you think back to the way things were and you think about how things could be. And again, just a reminder, they're still investigating in New York the election results that just simply don't add up. There is election fraud, and it happened in 2024.
Yep.
Nobody's talking about that though, but
no, because we're looking
numbers
at
don't add up.
2020. The injustices to Trump is really where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. I don't know. I think the man's delusional, and the world just is moving on from us. But in this country, we're just kind of going with it. I mean, people seem to either be in disbelief or just confused. And the bottom line is you're still going to work, much like yesterday. Everybody's going to work. Everybody's everything's more expensive. Though Trump says everything's less and costs are coming down. It's not. I mean, energy costs, food costs, rents,
utilities.
everything's up. So you're not going to, miss a day of work or else you're kind of screwed and you might be fired. So they keep you on the treadmill. They keep bombarding you with lies. And unless we can kind of form some kind of plan to push back and get everybody on the same page, this is going to continue until it can't. And when it can't, that's when your dollar's worthless. The rest of the world's moved on. And you're sitting here looking at each other because there's no place to go. I mean, as they're taking away your passport and your ability for global entry or any kind of travel, where are you going?
Yeah.
$30 billion pumped into ICE says you're not going anywhere they don't want you to go.
Yeah. And that's horrifying as an American. That is so anti-American and unconstitutional. And we've let this happen. We've elected people that have actually aided and abetted this. I mean, it's like a slow moving train coming at us. It's been coming for a while, and yet here we are. We refuse to get off the tracks. In fact, a portion of our population ran towards that slow moving train, couldn't wait to fall under it. And yeah, we're going to be trapped.
Well, putting it that way is pretty terrifying. And I can't really dispute it because I just don't really know what's going to stop this trend other than the majority of people catching on. I mean, the percentage of people that are true believers in this red hat syndrome has got to be 20%. It can't be much more than 22%, as they say. But we're letting this demented senior kind of lead us off the cliff. He's not going to be forever. So I'm not too worried about him. I'm more worried about the generations that followed him and his nonsense. But hey, he just keeps telling you. I mean, even today, Harbaugh finally took the job at John Harbaugh or John?
Yeah, John Harbaugh.
With the Giants. And they asked him, oh, how did it feel when Trump was pushing for you to get it? And he's like a giddy school kid. He's like, oh, it was so great. You love to hear that. And then Trump said, you better take it. And that's when he's like, oh, I thought maybe the Mara family had put him up to it, like strong arming him. But it's like, it's a game. It's a profession, of course. But how much of that mix do we have to have? How many events does Trump have to go to? Are we really going to have a UFC fight on the grounds of the White House?
Oh, I know, man. Blood and circuses. It's insane. And, and you look at the NFL in general, it's now become a business run by billionaires. Many of them who know nothing about football. At one time, it used to be the people that owned the teams were football people. They understood the games. You had families like, the older generation of the Maras and the Rooneys, the Hallises, the Fords. You're not seeing that anymore. You're seeing billionaires that, fire a coach at the drop of a hat. They want to get involved. Maybe they only listen to, the one person in the organization that just tells them what they want to hear and not what they need to hear.
Sure.
And even the league itself has just become just a money-making corporation. Basically, look how they're in bed with the military, the flyovers, all of that stuff, rolling out the giant flags, and I'm not saying, support the troops. That's great. But it seems so over the top and in your face now.
Yeah, for sure. And let's not forget the betting. That just really makes it more WWE style. And maybe we stop subsidizing the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing just fine on their own.
For sure.
I mean, and they're taking the game globally. So they want to put more of the good games on the streaming services so people from around the world can watch it. They're just trying to grow their share. And at the same time, I mean, you're still seeing players, healthcare is expiring after 5 years. You leave the game with a guaranteed 100% injury rate. It's just, a question of how disabled you're going to be.
Yeah.
This game it's a meat grinder. Sometimes it's like literally hard to watch when you see the way these guys are just beating on each other and how they do it week after week after week. And, we've been inside the sausage factory and, it's not always pretty.
For sure. Well, and you and I don't watch a lot of games. Obviously we saw some games this weekend, but some of those hits, I mean, I just can't I mean, a handful of times you and I were just like, recognizing how hard those hits are, and that the guy still gets up from it. Like, oh my gosh, like that would have probably separated my shoulder. My leg would have snapped on this play. I'd
Yeah.
certainly be concussed on this play.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and we don't take care of them after the fact. There's so much money being made off these players. And sure, some players make a nice salary. There's no doubt, depending on your position. But overall, there's enough money that you could take care of these guys that actually are making these owners all this cash. And instead, we have a guy in the White House that's saying, I'm going to go around Congress. We're making so much money. I'm going to give all of you Americans $2,000.
Yeah.
Now keep that to the side, because you're also going to need your health account that he's going to give you $1,000, maybe $2,000 into that. I mean, like, these numbers don't jive with the 1.8 trillion that his buddies just made in a year. I mean, it's just insane.
Oh yeah, and how much is what was the amount he got from Venezuela for their oil that's sitting in the Trump slush fund? Was
In
that 50
Qatar,
billion?
well, only so he can control it. Okay.
Yeah, which makes it basically the Trump slush fund.
This is true. But we're just being told that the people out there are attacking ICE, and people are welcoming ICE into their communities as they're rounding up their neighbors and stuff. I mean, there's just a real disconnect between how the federal government treats the citizens and how it's portrayed through the media. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the government doesn't even pretend it's on your side anymore. It's open warfare. You're either going to fall into line or you're the enemy.
That's right.
And that is not how this system was built. It's not how it was set up. It's not how it's supposed to be. The Constitution says so, but they don't care about that. They're just wiping their ass with it.
Well, the Fourth Amendment's gone. The search and seizure, they're just smashing people's windows open. They're shooting at people that are leaving, even if they're not necessarily there for those people. I mean, they're just doing whatever they feel like, whenever they feel like it. And that's just no way to live. I mean, it's insane. Some of the numbers that ICE presented were people that were picked up under Biden and even Obama. I mean, they're just fudging numbers and taking really anybody. Yet, if they feel like lunch, maybe I'll stop in this Mexican restaurant. If the food's not good, maybe I'll take a couple of you with me, type of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just insane. And we're allowing this to happen. And I don't want to keep belittling the point that we're kind of frozen here and not really reacting because we're bombarded with so much. But getting back to the Epstein files, I mean, this is the real crux of why this guy's trying to stay out of jail. I mean, he and many people, their lives will never be the same. But
Countless people, yeah.
But the majority of Americans would get their lives back. I mean, how many survivors are coming out and telling their story and naming names, and how you can't believe it? Those are lives ruined. Yes, they're still alive and they're living their life, but it's not the life that they could have lived had they not been damaged by these people that just didn't care. Oftentimes rape, oftentimes murder, definitely assault, just horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not acceptable to the majority of us. So why can't we, take action on that? I understand that Putin's got a whole file on Kreznev or whatever they call him. But the sad part to me is Trump was willing to go along with it because he hated our government that much, and he couldn't care less for people. And when they talk about the most cruelest, heinous acts that happened, that's what he likes. That's his thing.
That's his thing. Yeah, that's what floats his boat.
So if you're looking for empathy, if you're looking for somebody that gives 2 cents about how you feel, he's probably not your guy.
No, but if you really want a dictatorial, narcissistic leader that doesn't give a shit about you and is willing to trample your rights, the rights of everyone you know and love, this is your guy.
He's the winner, the big winner.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the date was, if it's coming up tomorrow, but Jack Smith will be testifying because obviously the January 6th thing went away that we had mentioned, and he pardoned all those people. And then a lot of those people went back into jail for assault or pedophilia or murder in some cases. Not the best people that he let out. But Jack Smith, you can't dispute what he's talking about and how this went down, whether it's Jenny Thomas with her organizing and busing people in, or Trump
Mm-hmm.
is paying the people to come in, or the Congress people that brought people into our Capitol and showed them around. Oh, here's how you get over here and how you get over there, and that none of that stuff can be swept away. Yeah, they say Jack Smith's a terrible person and he's a lunatic and whatever. Of course, you'd say that if you were guilty. I mean, give me
Oh
a break.
yeah.
The guy's well accomplished, and he did his job. There was one person that didn't do their job when that report came out, and that was the old attorney general. So,
Yeah. Who I've not heard hide nor hair from that fella. He's a disgrace, though. He
he
really
lost
is.
a bunch of weight, and he probably went and found some small children, allegedly. Anyway,
Man.
yeah. Again, we're not going to beat this to death anymore today, and I just feel like we're at a point where I could continue to pull up stuff and injustices and numbers, but the bottom line is you're going to be presented with how amazing things are, and our country's doing fantastic, and trillions of dollars this and trillions of dollars that, but you can feel the pulse of this nation's just off. You can see it when you look
Way
at
off.
people. Everybody's going through something, whether it's aging parents. We talked about Gen X with their sandwich generation. You're trying to raise decent children. You're also taking care of your elderly parents if you're lucky enough to still have them alive, and you're not getting any help.
Oh yeah. No, you can forget about that. But if you're a billionaire and you need, if you made some bad investments or some bad loans, Trump's got you covered.
Yeah,
Don't you worry. For a small fee.
yeah, we're just not in that club.
Mm-mm.
None of us are in that club, frankly. So we'll just keep trying to figure this out and keep trying to inform. But again, it's going to take you working in your own community. Some people sent me some information the other day that ICE was in my neighborhood. If you can pinpoint it, people are going out there. People are pushing back. Once it's in your community, it affects you, then you get on board. And sadly, if that's what it's going to take, then so be it. But none of us are really safe. I mean, they're trying to take away your right to make a comment, period, whether it's online. We saw it in Miami. Somebody talked about, I think, the mayor down there. And next thing you know, the sheriff deputies are showing up at her house,
Yeah.
pointing out the tweet on the phone, exactly what they said about the mayor. Say what you want, say anything you want. It's a free country.
Yeah. You've got the right to free speech.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a little exasperating. We will not be back on Thursday, and hopefully we can get together in a week and maybe see some differences. But I feel like we're on this slow treadmill of confusion, and lack of information really makes it hard to push back when you don't know what direction to push back in.
Yeah. That you've nailed it. You really hit that on the head.
So anyway, I'd like to say happy news. Indiana won the college football national championship. They ended what, 15-0, maybe 16-0 with that win.
Yeah. It's a really impressive season, an impressive team.
Yeah. Miami put up a valiant effort. People didn't even want Miami to qualify, yet they made it to the championship game, and it was a really good game in the end.
Yeah, it really was.
So that's my happy ending, that college football didn't disappoint, but our government is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have anything to add.
Well, the Pens got a nice win yesterday in Seattle, so back on the winning track. On a western, they're on their western road trip before the Olympics, so hopefully they can pick up some more points. And the standings in the East are very tight, and hopefully they can continue to stack those points and hang in there. But that's all I got for today.
Well, Letang is day to day. Sorry to dampen that.
I
Probably a
didn't see
lower
that.
body thing. But Carlson was skating in a normal jersey today, so
Okay.
they do have some depth. Today they did trade that Puustinen to Colorado for a defenseman. Puustinen will go to Colorado's AHL team, and I don't know where this defenseman's going, but yeah, they're wheeling and dealing. They look like they're going to try and make it into the playoffs. And
Yeah, I'd love
again,
to see it.
they're fun to watch, and it's been good to see them finding some success. So
Yeah, agreed.
go Pens.
Go
But
Pens.
Billy, I'll let you go. Always good talking to you. And
Yeah, you too. Nice job.
we'll catch up later. Yeah, I appreciate you as well.
All right, sounds good.
All right, I'd play some music, but I'm afraid that could be a problem. Anyway, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.